Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video we'll be talking about Gacha Weekly for either January or February. Just note we have some huge titles releasing this week, with 7 Deadly Sins getting a PC and console, solo leveling, so many different games. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. First things being is the solo leveling game. Now this is going to be on PC and console, so you're going to sort of see it everywhere. And if you haven't heard of solo leveling, it's pretty much one of the biggest webtoons that has come to us so far. I would almost call this like the Kirito of Korea in some ways, but obviously he is way cooler in the sense that he is a complete badass. He is a solo character. He will no longer work with any other person after the transformation of his character, and this game looks absolutely amazing. Say what you will about Netmarble, I am very sus on them, but the game itself, the translation of the different characters, all the different, like the waifu, I didn't think they would actually add this character from the webtoon, and the main character looks amazing. I didn't think we would ever get a game to this degree because it's such a hype like sort of webtoon, but look at the characters, look at the design. It's gonna be on PC and mobile devices as far as I know, but oh my gosh, they really outdid themselves with this trailer right here. Let's go ahead and jump into the biggest news of this week, and that's going to be 7 Deadly Sins Origins. It's combining, I guess, like that Genshin Impact, Breath of the Wild sort of feel, and you know, putting Meliodas and all the different 7 Deadly Sins, Bon. Everyone is in here and the game looks so amazing. I didn't think a 7 Deadly Sins game could ever look like something like this, but look at the demons that you can fight, the environment, like the water, it feels alive. Everything about this game just makes me want to play it right now. I don't know if this is going to be released in 2022, but the fact that you can play between Merlin and all the different characters in 7 Deadly Sins, and I don't know if they're showing like multiplayer or single player, or if you have like 3 characters naturally on board, but you can see obviously there's 3 characters walking around. Right here we have Elizabeth like collecting apples. We have, I'm forgetting this guy's name. All I know is that's the sloth guy, and he's like super lazy and he gets all skinny. King, there we go. And then, oh my gosh, I'm spacing on names right now. You guys will let me know down in the comments. But they have like the same sort of like climbing mechanic from like Breath of the Wild, Genshin Impact. Obviously we make the comparisons, but the skills, like the world, it's completely different. Just because it runs possibly on the same engine doesn't mean it's like the same game. Also, Netmarble announced Tower of God. This is going to be, I believe, another like PC mobile title. I don't know if it's a gacha. Now, when it comes to Tower of God, if you're not familiar with it, it's very reminiscent to huge stories like One Piece, and it just came off break, so it's a really good time to sort of jump back into the webtoon in case you want like a weekly read sort of thing. I love the different characters. I can't wait to see how like Bam translate into this and all the different characters. Right now, Bam is like the only one that I can sort of remember in my head because there's so many different characters within the game. But it looks really nice, and I can't wait to see how the waifus sort of perform and how everything goes. Is this going to be an auto one? It seems like an auto sort of RPG to me, not like, you know, 7 Deadly Sins or solo leveling style. But obviously it has like that light anime aesthetic to it that a lot of like games have been going for, like more colorful sort of attributes. There we go, we got Tower of God New World, so I'm pretty hyped for that one. Then we also got Reverse 1999 that is going to be available in English at launch. That is kind of huge. I saw Chaotic cover this the other day. Huge flowers to that guy. He's always covering like the best news when it comes to anime gacha games as well. And oh my goodness, look at this game. It looks stylistically very beautiful. You cannot tell me this game looks ugly. It has like sort of like that European vibe to it. And I guess it's, you know, sort of Sherlock Holmes. You know, you got like that crazy one meme where it's like, look at this, we got all the lines and this is like the theory and stuff. But I like the inclusion of sort of like the real life sort of deal from here. And I'm curious how this will turn out because 1999, it was definitely a different period in time, not too long ago. And look at the husbandos in this game. Gotta love them. And the waifus, of course. So we'll see how this sort of plays out. I feel like this will be more story driven more than anything else. But man, Gacha Weekly for January and February, whenever this releases, absolutely insane. Look at this. What kind of character pulls a gosh darn whatever that is out of their head? and it's spewing like black ooze. This waifu looks amazing. This waifu looks amazing. Is that a waifu or a lolly? I don't know. Everyone looks elegant. This butler, yeah, he looks pretty cool as well. And yeah, I wonder if there's any traps in this game. There usually is one, and there's a UFO, there's a talking heart, there's a sword that's polishing itself, a donkey person, and here's some gameplay. Oh, that looks kind of nice. It reminds me for some reason of, oh man, I am spacing on these names. It's like a combination between like the Arknight's art style and like sort of like normal RPGs. Flavored in with like alchemy stars. It has like sort of the aesthetic, and then it reminds me of like another Eden in some ways. And then that Hideo Kojima sort of like black ooze game that also came out, Pacific Guy from The Walking Dead. I'm spacing on names, I'm terrible with names, but look at that, it's gonna be coming out in 2022. That one looks really hype. Bravely Default also came out today? No, yesterday. Well, it came out on the 27th. Regardless, here's gonna be some footage on it. Now, when people were describing this one, it felt like it should have been a console game and not an actual like mobile gacha title. But at the same time, it looks really strong. And if you like the Bravely Default series, then I guess you would enjoy your time on this. They have tough competition with like, you know, another Eden already out. But I guess like since a lot of people are familiar with the Bravely Default like sort of franchise, I guess you can jump into this one. In my opinion, if you're gonna play a Bravely Default game, you should just jump into the console games because they're probably gonna give you a more fuller experience at the end of the day. And then here's some footage of Echoes of Mana from like the actual devs. I think this was in Taipei like game show. So you can see like the different characters. It's gonna be like a RPG of some sort. They're essentially like showcasing like how are the characters interacting, they're fighting a boss and whatnot, the story, what's going on. There seems to be like 2 characters that you can control. But for the most part, I just want to showcase this. I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's keep it going. Next thing's being is Nikke Goddess of Victory. This isn't releasing anytime soon, but I just wanted to remind people that this game exists. And it's by far one of the most beautiful games that I am so hyped for. I cannot wait for it to release. Hopefully in 2022. I believe this one is based out of KR, but the waifus, the sort of visuals and the, how do I say this? Angle that they're working with is very different from a lot of gacha games. Obviously, it's gonna have to deal with guns. We're gonna have our waifus essentially taking out robos or I guess like these alien-esque ordeals. Oh, but look at these aesthetics. Look at the sass. Look at everything happening here. Are you not happy? Are you not entertained? Because I for sure, she was holding a switch, I think. There we go, we got shotgun waifu. They look stunning. Look, the angles, everything about this. If it can get like all these physics right, if it can actually nail this perspective that you're going to be seeing, these bosses that we're fighting in Goddess of Nikke, I am very hyped for this game. It has everything that should be right as far as like being a different sort of spin on the RPG sort of aspects. And it has like, you know, that perfect angle that everyone would love to see and enough waifu character where you'd be like, this is fairly entertaining. But we'll see how this does when it does release, hopefully sometime in 2022. And you will, I guess, see a different perspective of your waifus because they look absolutely amazing. Kind of reminds me of like the faction system, like, you know, with Azure Lane and Girls Frontline, where it's like, you know, we have like these sort of archetypes, but look at this, they're fighting bosses on trains and you have like all these different color palettes. The waifus look drastically different from sort of like the oblique dark bosses that they're fighting. But oh my goodness, I want this game. I can't wait for it to release. I just wanted to put that on your radar. And let's talk about the next things. Cookie Run Oven Smash and a bunch of Cookie Run games are going to be releasing. This one's going to be on Steam. It's going to be sort of a MOBA League of Legends sort of style. Witch's Castle. This is going to be like a match puzzle game, maybe like Candy Crush. And you have Project B right here, which is going to be a 3D title that's going to be a little bit different as well. So Cookie Run doing some different things. Very popular franchise. Dream Maester and the Recollected Black Fairy Ultimate game is also going to be releasing February 17th. You'll probably see me talk about this again on February 17th. Do we have an actual like sort of trailer going on here? What's going to be happening in this Ultimate? Oh, okay, we do. So I guess it's going to be sort of like an RPG, maybe like that Disney Twisted Wonderland sort of feel. Honestly, if I were to look at this, it's Princess Connect except otome or husbando, however way you want to say this, but they look beautiful. I like my husbando games. I am an open palette when it comes to these things. anything that's good gameplay, I'm all about. So we'll see how this one goes. Now let's just put it on your radar and we'll talk about it more in upcoming gachas because it's going to be releasing in February. And then we also have some Toho Lost Word. You know, we're going through the events now, done with like the upcoming games, beginner stuff happening in case you want to check that out. We have Genshin Impact Lantern Rite 2022 that is going to be out right now. So make sure to jump into Genshin and play that. And not to mention, the new outfits for Genshin Impact is actually getting some warm fan reception. So that is pretty good. Honestly speaking, when I look at Rosaria as a nun, I do sort of understand how she is toned down in the way she dresses. And she seems more, how do I say this, mature, more realistic in her like sort of presence with this outfit. So personally, I don't think it's terrible. I think it looks pretty cool. And as AN people, you can switch between the two outfits. So I think like lore-wise, this one just fits better. But, you know, we'll see how it goes, how people will take it. I like it. Grand Summoners is also getting a Fairy Tail collab, so that is going to be really cool. Natsu right there, looking pretty amazing. We got Grey Fullbuster with his 6-pack dominance, and then Lucy Heartfilia with all of her different summons. I wonder what summons that she will have. And then we have Erza Scarlet, yes, the #1 waifu, or the waifu of Fairy Tail in my opinion. And there's also going to be Alchemy Stars doing its Extreme Depth Underground event, so that is going to be really cool. Make sure to check that out. And then Alchemy Stars is also getting a higher frame rate mode, which is really cool. And then we also have the Grand Blue event happening in Punishing Gray Raven, not Grand Blue itself. And when it comes to Punishing Gray Raven, it obviously stands out as being one of the better action RPGs. Look at the waifus in their swimsuits. They look absolutely amazing. And yeah, I can't wait to sort of see what gameplay people have. It's hard for me to stay up to date with all the different games, but Lee looks absolutely amazing. I love the husbando sort of love, and I can't wait all the different stages, and there's gonna be new transcendent versions of characters. So PGR coming out swinging for summer. We have Sky Frontier Fantasy Battle NFT online sort of game. We'll see how this goes. Honestly, if people make money from it and people don't get scammed, that's all that matters. I just don't want people to get scammed when it comes to these things. I'm not vouching for this one. I'm just saying it's a thing. And then we have Senran Kagura and Ikki Tosin having a collab. You know, if you've ever seen any of like the Senran Kagura sort of stuff, it is by far some of the best content you will see as far as waifus in like ninja outfits or waifu ninjas in anime. So if you haven't checked out that series, make sure to go ahead and take a peek. If you're feeling a little bit of like an anime degen, Shin Ikki Tosin right there. I think Ikki Tosin, when I was watching that in like anime form as a kid, that was pretty edgy. And then we also have like January 4th, some roundups by Games With right here. There's a Jack and Detective game. There was the Shokubo JP game that also released. Then we also have Technoroid Unison Heart that also came out on January 21st. And then Hold'em, that's also having a collab with Konosuba, which is pretty cool. We have the Professional Baseball League as sort of game getting a Yu-Gi-Oh collab. And then we have this Ashtail Wind of Content getting a collab with the Slime anime or Rimuru. So that's a lot of cool stuff right there. We have some numbers for the month of December on how games are doing. If your game is on this list, they're probably doing well. Like anything where they're making profits, that's pretty good. And downloads is always an amazing thing to see. And then we also have Epic 7 having its Lunar New Year, which means 10 free summons every single day. I highly recommend playing Epic 7. It's a phenomenal game if you ever wanted to get into the series. Very similar, I would say almost an up-to-date Summoners War. And then we also have the Lunar New Year happening for Azure Lane, or is this Arknight? I'm pretty sure this was Azure Lane. I'm gonna get this right. I love how they're doing all these animations. Like Lunar New Year is a big deal for anime gacha sort of games. And look at the scenery, how much effort they have to put into this. They could have just, you know, ran a web page and be like, look, it's Lunar New Year. But instead, they go through the effort and make all these different things and make a bunch of new characters. What is this? I cannot actually tell. Is this Arknight? No, this has to be Azure Lane. Oh my goodness. I will read the title. Happy New Year. This is 100%, this is Azure Lane, that's for sure. All right, I saw Guided Missile Destroyer, so there we go. Happy New Year to the Azure Lane people. And I guess there's gonna be like a different sort of event going on, sort of like a platformer. And oh man, the waifus, absolutely amazing. Always. That's what I love about Azure Lane. I also love that about Arknights, but you know, even more so when it comes to Azure Lane. So, you know, feel free to like run through this. Oh, the waifus. Oh man. It makes me really want to jump back into this game just to see how they are all looking. YouTube, please do not demonetize me. I just want to view the perfection that is Azure Lane and all the Happy New Year or Lunar New Year. Look at these waifus. All right, if you want to look at that more, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll have links down in the description. Dokkan is also doing its 7th anniversary, having some free characters and all that stuff. So if you want to check that out, now's a good time. We also have Grand Summoners doing a collab with Attack on Titan. Honestly, I love Grand Summoners for how it looks. Gameplay wise and like the way the gear system works, not really my favorite sort of deal. But when it comes to just visually pleasing and the pixel graphics and the animations, they always nail it, because this is how I would want like sort of these characters to look in like this perfect, I guess, stylized pixel RPG. And they're explaining all the different characters. I don't really know. I don't care if they're meta. I just wanted to look at Mikasa right here. She looks absolutely phenomenal. I love how she has like that little kick. You know, show them some sass, Mikasa, because that's essentially what you do. And I like how they're more in their teenage form versus their adult form, where the current anime is coming out. You know, if you're watching the anime for Attack on Titan final season, shout outs to you for being a real one. We'll see how the ending goes. I watched the manga, or not watched, read the manga. And, you know, the ending had some bits where I was like, okay, you did a thing. I don't want to spoil anything. But we'll see how they play it out in the anime. Will it be different because of the manga reception? I highly doubt there are going to be any differences. And there was also the announcement of Levi in this form. Or is that Eren as well? I don't know. I wish Levi was a character that you could play in like the Attack on Titan Grand Summoners collab. And then we also have Uma Musume collabing with Grand Blue, which I think looks really amazing. So, okay. And yeah, there we go. We have, oh my goodness, I'm spacing on names. She is in the game for Grand Blue, so make sure to check that out in case you ever want to do so. And then finally, we have the top 10 best mobile RPGs of 2021 brought to you by QApp. Make sure to use them. I love them. We got Trickster M and KR. This one looks pretty cool as far as like graphically speaking, if you want like a low, you know, pixel RPG sort of budget game. They have Lineage W. I don't know about the Lineage series. There's always like a new one. Revelations Mobile, I think this is popular, but sort of like your generic MMO. Icarus Eternal, this one looks okay. Then you have Mastertopia, I guess you can play this one. I don't know a lot about anime RPGs, like MMO wise, but Mirror 4, I know that one was successful. The one on the list that got me was the very last one. We have Seven Nights 2. I know this is out in global. It has like your sort of auto aspects and weird sort of map structure that makes it feel like an open world. You have Onigiri Heroes, in case you want to check that out, sort of like your low poly 3D style. You have Ni no Kuni, which honestly, artistically, it looks amazing. Like, I love the shading. I love the way the game looks. Ni no Kuni is a beloved franchise. And to me, the most notable one is Grand Saga right here. This game looks amazing. I want this to come out in global. And if it ever releases, I think that's going to be one of the better like anime RPGs that's going to be coming out. And then finally, I'm leaving with you. Azure Lane knows its audience by keeping in, you know, zoom in functions and certain things. You know, Azure Lane knows what's up when it comes to waifus. And of course, this is like the beloved image, how our gacha sort of series, our timeline started with all the different things. I love this. This is like one of the greatest things. Princess Connect is here. I'm happy to see it. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we have 30,000 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Thanks so much. Also, I hope you enjoyed all of the announcements. There's so many wonderful games. And we'll talk about some of these again in February and maybe like a more further breakdown. See you guys, and thanks so much.